Alright guys, welcome back. We got war number 5 in Alliance War Season 42. We're going to start off on path 3 with Avsman, a 5-star Galan, and Odin. So, not so many fights with the main account. I don't have a 6-star Galan, and originally I was going to do Hulkling, but I forgot he is on defense. So 5-star Galan, no problem here against this Nimrod on node 6. Goodbye. Instant death. So next up is node 15. We have Wiccan. I decided to go with Avsman here. This was just the best option that I had here. Again, I did speed up the fights because we got 14 fights for you guys between the 4 accounts. Heavy on the junior account. But Avsman here, the only problem is I started in the Incinerate mode, but didn't realize that all that damage that I'm doing, he's going to get it all back with his special one. Or at least a bunch of it. So then I end up switching modes back to special 1, spam those, but just get stuck here dancing around his specials for a little bit. Not too concerned here. Like, I was focused more on staying initially in the second phase to have the Incinerate immunity, but at the same time here, I'm not triggering a lot of buffs. And he's not getting his neutralize on me. So if that's the case here, then I'm doing all right if I don't parry. So I'm just kind of playing him stun immune and sticking with the special ones here, and it worked out just fine. Now, Avsman was good for a couple other fights if I would have played properly. One fight, I did not mean for it to happen, but I lost a recording of the one screw-up that I had. And it was with Avsman, where I think it was my Mystic Dispersion kicked in too much, and I got too much power, and there was an Idoom on node 32, which we'll glance past later, and I actually did pick up one death there, which was very frustrating, because I was just supposed to spam special ones, and it would have been really, really easy, and when I healed up and did the same thing again, it was very easy, but I did screw up, so I am not going to go past that. I will tell you exactly what happened anytime I do screw up on something. Next up, we got node 4. We got Sauron. Doc Ock is going to do great work here. He is a global attacker, so I can manage Sauron's prowess really nicely with the parry heavies that I'm already doing. Going to bait some special ones. I was getting a lot of the power drains on this one. Normally I would prefer a little bit more of the heal blocks specifically to counter the node, but we do end up having to bait a bunch of Sauron special ones, but I'm pretty comfortable with that. And as long as I can parry heavy as well, so we can keep the prowess down. I did see the unblockable already at the bottom there, so I had to be a little bit careful, but then we did get rid of the prowess, so I don't think we had anything to worry about there. Throw another big old special one. He did get the reinvigorated Fury, but not really an issue at all. Get back into a couple actual parry heavies, but again, just spamming a lot of special ones. But I'm very comfortable evading Sauron special one. So one big old special 2 there. Goodbye, Sauron. Next up, I really love the decision here. I have a rank 4 Sig 200 Angela against this Masochism Overseer. Now, Angela's not going to be able to bypass Masochism. You can see there that parry does trigger the regen. But what I can, as long as I get a couple buffs on me after getting over like a bar of power, so I've got like three buffs. There I screwed up that first one by invul boost. But I can now bypass his auto block completely. So if he throws any specials, one of the most annoying parts with Overseer is having to wait out his auto block. But with Angela, not a problem. I realized there that throwing those specials are going to trigger Masochism, but look at this here. Auto block, no problem. Just completely bypass it with Angela. It's absolutely amazing. And I was really happy with this decision because Angela is not only going to be good for this fight, we are going to have, even though I did get clipped there, which is a little frustrating, but we get some healing. We'll be fine. But there's one more fight against a champion that really screwed us up in the previous war, and you're going to see that a little later on, unless you looked at the thumbnail already. But there's going to be another fun fight with Angela, so stick around for that as well. There, we just got to bait a nice little heavy attack there, and goodbye, Overseer. Next up is Kitty, which is a global defender on node 20, but personal space regeneration Doc Ock is going to absolutely shred this one. We're just going to go with our parry heavy game, and look at that. Once we have that armor up on, we can go ahead. Don't have to worry about her prowess at all. We can just parry and heavy cleanly the entire time because she is not going to trigger her invisibility. We're going to block that special 1 counter with our special 2. Get the triple debuff on. One more parry heavy. Goodbye, kitty. That is a very clean fight. Next up, we got Zemo on node 22. This is a hazard shift Zemo, incinerate, and shock. So I did bring in Odin on that other account specifically to put the pre-fights on, and then Magneto is going to take this one here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I hit into his block first, and I'm going to try and only hit into him at the beginning when he's in the shock phase. So I'm going to go ahead, let him throw that heavy counter. He's in the shock phase. Really, Magneto can shut down hazard shift altogether, but I was trying to focus on just doing it on the shock phase because he does have shock resistance in general, but combining that with the Odin pre-fight might have been a little overkill, but wanted to make sure we played this one safe. So similar to the boss, we're pretty good with our spacing now in terms of countering his heavy attacks or specials, and even if he's got the incinerate on, I'm still going to go ahead and I decide I gotta start throwing some hits because his prowess was building up, and prowess, even with the magnetism, he was still gaining some power. I do not want him to get to special 2, so I do have to start kind of just hitting in and hoping that the magnetism is going to help me out here. And then I go ahead, drop the big old special 3. I know that the special 3 is going to purify his debuffs, and I'm immediately going to be rooted. So I do that. I'm prepared that when he throws that heavy, I can dash out of the way. And he dies from the bleed detonation. Perfect fight with Magneto, which is going to lead us into node 24, which is future Antman. We've already done this one. It's vigorous assault and buffet. So at the beginning of the fight, he is going to get that initial regen, but as soon as that regen is gone, we're going to see that we're going to be able to parry heavy the rest of the fight. I am going to try. It's not guaranteed. I have had a time where I went it for a parry heavy and my buff disappeared, and it did trigger the buffet, which did trigger the vigorous assault. It is possible, but very unlikely based on the amount of data we've got so far, the amount of times we've taken future Ant-Man on this node. Magneto has been an absolute stud for this fight on node 24. Now, like I said, after this one, I went right to the other account, did Absman against Idoom. I screwed up, went into, I couldn't stay in my my bleed and shock immune phase, couldn't get to a special 3, got stuck with it in a special 2, and I picked up a death against that Idoom, and then it went right to Moleman. I'm not sure why I'm missing part of this footage here. It's a little frustrating, but we're starting a few seconds into this Moleman fight on node 42. Really, there's nothing to worry about here. Moleman does not have any armor ups, so I don't have to worry about anything except Moleman's base abilities, and I think he is a global defender, so when he gets those prowess, he can potentially gain power. So a lot of specials, a lot of evading, and I don't want to hit into his block. I don't want to trigger his unstoppable, even though Absman reduces the duration of like unstoppable and unblockables. I wasn't planning on testing that out in this particular fight against Moleman here. So you can see I'm just going to go with like spamming special 1 over and over again. Just on the off chance I do get hit, I want to make sure I've got the bleed and shock immunity on. There I do get hit for a second, but again, I'm spamming those special ones. Keep that bleed and shock immunity so in case he does hit me, I'm not taking a ton of damage over time. But really nicely done with Absman here on this, and it's really unfortunate that I couldn't get a good run against that Idoom on the first fight. It is a little tricky because it's hard to parry him, but I can bait his... I'm happy baiting Idoom's specials, baiting his heavy attacks. Really wish I hadn't screwed up there, but that's what happened. And this fight, and unfortunately, we played another very tough opponent, and near the end of the war, we knew this one was already out of reach, unfortunately. But at this moment, we were trying as hard as we can, and I'm always going balls to the wall in these fights. I'm not gonna give up on a war fight or on the alliance mid-war. That's not happening. So we are gonna finish this one off. I know it did take a little while, but there we go. Moleman drops. Next, beautiful fight. Angela against Shuri. This one here is reinvigorated, unblockable, never back down. Now, the beauty of Angela is she can parry non-contact attacks. Shuri only has non-contact attacks. So I can parry freely on this fight. Absolutely amazing. The only thing I have to be aware of is I don't want to dash back twice in a row. If I dash back, like right here, I'm going to hold block until that timer disappears, and then I can dash one more time at the end of her special one. So anytime I dash back, right here, hold it, dash again, and now I haven't triggered it. So the goal here is not to trigger the never back down. If I dash back, hold it, again, stay nice and close, dash there at the end, and I'm free to go. So a lot of very intentional moves here of how I'm blocking and evading the end of the special one, and I can parry freely as well. Perfect fight against a character that I had a very hard time with in the last war, but absolutely shredded here with Angela. This rank up on the junior account is just paying more and more dividends. Next up is Storm X on node 40. We're going to take this one with Doc Ock. These are more global attacker against a global defender, and Doc Ock, even on buffet here, we are going to be, and even though Storm X glances a ton during this fight, I just continue my strategy with Doc Ock, the parry heavies as best I can. And even though she heals back up and you're like, is he going to get through there? Look at the damage on that heavy attack. So even though I am going to be dealing with a bit of back and forth on her health here, when I get the triple debuff on, look at the health disappear. How much damage can we get there? Huge burst damage on that. Like huge direct damage on the detonation there of the triple debuff. And we are at a full yellow bar, and Storm is almost done. So she glances my detonation, glances it again. I just need one of these ones to actually stick, but where it's fine. Gonna have to block a special too, but because of the global node, it's not an unblockable special 2 because I'm getting rid of prowess on every heavy attack there for the most part. And one more special one we have to evade. She's getting a little bit of healing back, which is a little annoying at this point because we got so much damage in early. So we're going to get one more big special 2, and goodbye Storm X. Next is Toad, and I didn't realize this in the previous war. When he puts a paralytic poison on you, all I had to do was do a dex, and it drops off of you. Here, I'm going to have one unfortunate mistake. You can see right at the beginning, Toad did not want to dash in for a nice little parry heavy. Right now, we get into a little bit of a rhythm, parry heavy, parry heavy. He is getting shredded here on node 46, but I'm going to go in, I think right now, after this one, and boom. Sorry, not one more. One more parry heavy. I'm feeling really good. I get clapped. I am taking a lot of damage, but what I'm going to do is I realize when I dex, bye-bye paralytic poison. So I dex a few times, I get rid of the paralytic poisons, and now I just go back into my parry heavy game. If he puts another paralytic poison on me, so here I'm just going to dash back, or I realize I'm going to dash back again. Goodbye paralytic poisons. As long as you dex, they will disappear. So if I would have realized that, because again, I can't remember everything about every character in the game, but there you go, little tidbit there, and we get out of that fight, no problem. We have to use a little bit of some potions because we got clapped in the face on that one, but Doc Ock is going to do this Mangog Unknown 54 just like we always do, and for fun, we went and going to showcase how to get the quintuple debuff, like 5 debuffs here. So as normal, if you get to the special 2 and you have 100 research categories, throw the special 2 triple debuff, 2 power drains, and a heal block. We're going to refresh those with special ones, but because we are a Sig 200 Doc Ock, we are stealing back a portion of the power that Mangog would have gotten, which is fueling my power meter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh when I can get all the way up to 2 bars of power, do the special 2 again, and now I have 3 power drains, 2 heal blocks, and a massive burst damage there. That was the quintuple debuff with a massive heavy attack. Now, last but not least, this war was lost. Magneto seemed like as good of an opportunity against this Korg. Doom is probably the best here, but I figured I'd try Magneto because he's got all energy attacks. He's a global attacker against this Korg. Mistake that I made here, other than getting hit in the face, is that I should have, because it's very hard, for me at least, on Korg to get a bunch of heavy attacks in. I think at one point I tried to heavy his special 2, and I whiff on it and get clapped. Because I couldn't get good heavy counters here, I did throw some special ones, and that's not going to do anything against Korg. And I think I threw a special 2 at one point as well. Wasn't really doing the damage for me. What I should have relied on from the start, there's the whiff on that heavy, is I should have just built up to special 3. And then when you do a special 3 with Magneto, you get a massive Fury. There I actually got a clean dex on the special 1. We're going to get a bunch of those in this fight. And when I yeah, so it didn't go as well as I'd like. I only get about, I think I get less than half of him down, or close to half of him down, and I heal up and try again. But I figure it's good practice if this was the only option we had, and I had to go for a solo. I am boosted up pretty big for this one anyways, because might as well try and do it properly if I have a chance to practice on it, and I don't want to give up a death for nothing. There, I tried to dex that special 1, but messed it up. So I did take too much damage here, and I'm taking too much chip damage. But I really think you'll see after I screw up the first half of this fight, when I go for the second half and I start cycling through special 3s, you're going to see the damage ramp up a lot more. And Magneto actually, I think, maybe could have soloed this one. Well, probably. A very good player could solo this one. I'm not saying I'm not a good player, but I would have to be really on my A game. You're going to see here, I finally do go for the special 3 at the end, but I don't have a lot out there. I got clipped by a special 2. So that was a little annoying. But we're going to go ahead, jump back in for another go at to get the rest of this Korg down. And I am just going to go specifically for, get a nice little intercept there, bait the special 2 properly, and we're just going to go for special 3s. I put, I think, a power start 1 boost on, get to a special 3. We don't have any, unfortunately, we don't have any prowess on us, because we're not really getting any of those heavy attacks, but we're going to go ahead, bait that special 2, and then throw a special 3. This is going to give us a big Fury. We're going to take off a few percent there on the initial special 3. But now that Fury lasts pretty long, and we're hitting a lot harder. So I will take that. Some nice big yellow numbers if we crit. And there, lots of nice clean decks on the unblockable special 1. I will take that any day of the week. And I used to fight Korg a lot with Doom on Node 22, back when it was like Mixmaster maybe. So I am used to Korg, but I haven't dexed a special 1 like this in forever. That was 2 clean dexes in a row, 3 clean dexes in a row. I couldn't believe what was happening. Granted, it was all for nothing because we had lost this war, but I was having a good time in this particular fight. Again, there, another clean dex. I was losing my mind. Okay, I don't know how many times you guys fight Korg and how good you are doing the special 1, but for me, this was like an out-of-body experience. Another clean dex. Honestly, I was just losing it. It was amazing. And we are going to get but one more for good measure before we finally, I think, mess up one of the special 1 dexes maybe near the end. But again, I'm building up, trying to get to another special 3. We are going to drop it, and we do finish off this Korg boss with only 1 death with Magneto. So Pretty happy with this one. I hope you learned something in this war. There, we finally screw up the special one after like 6 times in a row, but we got him down. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one, guys. Bye-bye.